All right. Welcome to the show. This is the Frankly Fantasy Football Podcast. We are your hosts, Frankie and Johnny. Welcome in, Frankie. How are you?
Well, hello, Johnny. How are you, good sir?
I'm good. I'm coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, in Bengal country right now. Out of a nice little hotel room by, True by Hilton. Future sponsor. Shout out to Hilton. Come on, boys.
Stay at a Hilton next time you're out. Thanks, Hilton. Hilton.
Yeah, I don't know the tagline, otherwise I would say it.
No.
Hilton, we've got beds.
Hilton, we're not Marriott.
We're not Marriott, yes. How you doing, man? What's going on?
Doing good, man. Just gearing up, getting ready for this wonderful week after this Thursday night game. And excited to talk some starts and sits and smashing and passing.
I'm terrified about this weekend, man. I'm terrified. Actually, this week isn't terrible. We've got 2 teams on bye that we'll talk about. Next week is bye-pocalypse. There's 6 teams on bye, man. Oh my gosh. So terrified. Welcome to the show, everyone. Today is our show where a little more conversational. Frankie and I are talking about our starts and sits. Frankie's got a bunch of guys he loves. I'm going to either praise him or shit on them. Either way, it's probably going to be a good time. But this is where we do our starts and sits, our smash or pass, or our hit it and quit it.
I want you to hit it.
All right, baby. All right, buddy. Tell me right now, what are you thinking? Who's your first hit it of the week?
John, I'll tell you what, I'm firing up and I'm hitting Alvin Kamara. Now, people might be thinking, well, that's kind of cheap. Well, I'll tell you what, Alvin Kamara has played 2 games and has been absolutely incredible as a true RB2 in those 2 games, guys. He's had 14.9 points in a half PPR against that of the Buccaneers, and he had 17.2 against that of the New England Patriots. He's walking into Houston Texan territory, and guys, he is the dude for the Saints. From the receiving work, the rushing work, don't shy away from him. Firing up and enjoy the ride this week.
Yeah, he's been really good. He doubled his output from the week before. 22 carries, 80 yards, a touchdown. Man, he's looking good. Averaging 3.6 yards a carry in that one. New England is a tougher run defense, believe it or not, regardless of how they've been playing. The week before, though, was 11 rushes for 51 yards, averaging 4.6. I love it, man. It didn't get into the receptions like he did the week before, but the week before he had 14 targets, 13 catches. I mean, that's where he got all of his fantasy points there. But this week was 3 targets, 3 catches. Love to see him more involved, but this Houston rushing defense, it's not scary at all, man. So I love it. I absolutely love Alvin Kamara this week.
Smash him, baby. And John, this next dude is unbelievable. We talked about him in the last episode, and I'm firing him up. Whether you're going to try to sell him high or whether you're riding him into a win this week, I'm talking Adam Thielen, baby, with the Carolina Panthers at that of Miami Dolphins. Yes, it's probably going to be an ass beating. And yes, I know Miami's going to probably just destroy them. But that bodes very well for throwing the ball. Bryce Young to Adam Thielen. It's a real thing. And on top of it, DJ Chark is looking good, or is back, I believe, this week again. And so I really think that could end up taking a little bit of burden off of Thielen. I really like him. Until further notice, you have to fire him up, man. He is the number 10 receiver in fantasy football in half PPR. Last week alone, he had 13 targets, and he caught 11 of them for 107 yards and 1 touchdown. And they got the shit beat out of them by Detroit, 42-24. I see the same, something very similar to that this week against that of the Miami Dolphins. But again, that is okay in fantasy football. We like it a little bit when it's like that because these guys thrive. So Adam Thielen, I'm all on board, baby.
I can't believe his targets and his catches. And he's guy's 33 years old. He's probably got 2 grandchildren at this point. He's had since week one. Week one was pretty small. He had 2 targets, 2 catches, but he had 9 targets, 14 targets, 8 targets, and 13 targets.
That's crazy.
3 touchdowns in the past 4 games. I mean, it is crazy, man. I hate saying it, but yes, you have to start Adam Thielen.
Have to.
Miami's going to absolutely destroy these guys, and it is going to be garbage time. But garbage time produces fantasy points. We talked about that before, and you can't be afraid of that. We talked about Thielen being a trade candidate for you. First of all, were you able to pull off any trades? In a short period of time.
None.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think you could get for Adam Thielen if you are making trades, though? Are you using him as a package piece, or do you think you can get 1-for-1 and get, I don't know, a running back? Could you get like a Brian Robinson?
Yeah.
Or something like that if you need running back help?
Yeah. I think absolutely you could get a Brian Robinson. I think you could probably even get a James Cook, which is the next guy we'll actually talk about here from the hit it and quit it and start and sit. But I think that's absolutely a guy that you could get. Or John, we mentioned it on the last episode. If you want to go for the big gun, let's just say there's Bijan, right? Or something like that. I think that it's possible. I think that you need another piece, obviously, but Adam Thielen could be the guy that gets you over the hump in that trade, especially if you're targeting somebody who might be 1-4, 0-5, 2-3. JJ went down, or maybe something else crazy happened, and now they're depleted at receiver. Now you come to them with a beautiful gift in hand. Here's white guy Adam Thielen, ready, 33 years old, beard and everything. Take him from me. And then you get a good guy in return. And I think obviously, you're going to package up something. You could do a Marquise Brown and Adam Thielen for a superstar piece. You could end up doing Amari Cooper, Adam Thielen, and maybe one other small piece for a superstar, something like that. I'm a big proponent in a 2-for-1, 3-for-1 trade. If you can do it right, I think he's a perfect guy for that, John.
All right. I love it. That's really good advice, man. Otherwise, don't feel bad about keeping Adam Thielen on your team. I mean, he's just scoring points. I would continue to shop. I don't know how sustainable it's going to be for how long. I mean, eventually this guy's body's taken more beating than it's ever taken.
Yeah.
I don't know how long he'll be able to sustain that. So he's good on your team. I think he's going to be a great wide receiver too for you, give you a lot of stability and actually some ceiling, which is crazy. But don't be afraid to shop him out here. I don't know how many more weeks he's going to be able to sustain this. So give it a try.
John, the next guy here is the guy I just mentioned, James Cook. I think this is going to be the time that you need to start him. He is playing the New York dumpster fire Giants, and they are putrid. They are terrible. They are so bad. It is unbelievable. And so for me, this game script could be very positive, very, very positive for James Cook. James Cook had a really, really rough go last week against that of the Jacksonville Jaguars. John, he had 3.6 points in that of half PPR. We talked about him, about rushed the ball 5 times for -4 yards. There's a lot of shit that goes into it when you're traveling to London. You got to get up, you got to play. You're not acclimated, right? It was a slew of different things, and they're down pretty much the entire game. So Josh Allen is required to throw the ball. This week, opposite game script. They're home. They're rested. They're pissed, right? Everything is a perfect storm for them coming out and ready to wax the Giants, on top of the Giants just being arguably the worst team in the NFL right now. So for me, man, this is a perfect play. If I could, and I will actually put my money where my mouth is, I'm absolutely firing up James Cook this week in one of my teams.
Yeah, I've got him as well, and I've been happy with him. I mean, I wasn't expecting him to be just an absolute maniac on the field or anything. That's not exactly what that offense has, and it's not what they're looking for. They use the ball use the offense in other ways. But his usage has been great. I mean, he's looking at averaging 13 targets, 17 targets, touches, 21 touches. I mean, he's had a lot of good touches. This week you could throw away. I mean, this team, that was an experiment like we had talked about with going to London, playing a team that had already been in London for the week before that and played. You got to throw it away. It was a rough week. But prior to that, 13 fantasy points, 11, 15, 6. The guy's been very consistent and very good. Where he hasn't, gone crazy on the ground, he'll make it up through the air as well. He's very good in the air. But yeah, I love James Cook this week, man. Fire him up. Love it.
John, the next guy is got to be Raheem Mostert. playing that of Carolina. No Devon Achane. He's definitely going to be the lead back. Obviously, we talked about some of the backups. Is Jeff Wilson coming back? He's practicing. Probably not. It's going to be Chris Brooks and Salvin Ahmad as the backup at this point. It is Raheem Mostert all the way. And so I just think that this is an absolute smash play for the number 2 running back on the year so far in half PPR. Fire his ass up.
I just fun little story here, Frank. But I had 4 good running backs on my team, and Raheem Mostert was on there, and I was just like, man, listen, I don't know if this is going to continue. It was like 1 week he'll score 50, 1 week he scores 2. I don't really want to deal with that because I don't know. I've got 3 other guys I can play. Turned Raheem Mostert into Cooper Kupp.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah, I was very, very happy. It was a good trade. We ended up swapping tight ends as well, and he got the better of that deal with Sam Laporta. I got Dalton Kincaid, but turning Mostert into Cooper Kupp was fantastic. I mean, if you can do that and you can afford it, because you didn't draft Cooper Kupp to be your running back 1 or 2. It's not where you draft him. You may need him now after the goddamn.
You mean Raheem Mostert?
Or Raheem Mostert, I'm saying, yeah. But yeah, man, I mean, turn him into something if you're not using him all the time. Absolutely.
Totally.
You can get a lot for him.
Love it. Love it, man. And by the way, great trade. Cooper Kupp. Yummy. Yummy,
nice to see him back, wasn't it? Nice
it was
to
great.
See him back. It's also nice to see that Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua both are going to be fine. And Tutu Atwell for that.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah. Fun fact, Puka Nacua was on the field for 100% of the snaps. Cooper Kupp was on the field for 95% of the snaps. And Tutu Atwell was on the field for like 77% of the snaps. Van Jefferson, gone. He was on the field for 5% of the snaps.
He's traded.
He's done. Yeah, you can't do anything with him. But it's great to see that Puka and Cooper Kupp can both be in there. Tutu Atwell, they take long shots down the field. He's a desperation start at your flex spot, but he could give you a big touchdown too.
Love it, man. Love it. John, I'll tell you what, there's 2 more guys on here that I really like, and I'm hitting the hell out of it. Number 5, man, is going to be Jordan Addison. With JJ going down, what Jordan Addison has already shown, right? He's had 3 weeks so far in double digits, right? So we're talking 14.1, 15.7, and 15.4. The most recent was against that of the Kansas City Chiefs. With JJ going down, this is going to be fascinating. I'm really excited to see this rookie take off, and he could be great. I mean, he could legitimately be very, very good. So with them playing at Chicago, John, I'm drooling over this matchup. This should be high flying. Both defenses suck. Should be a shit ton of points on the board, and Jordan Addison should be the guy that comes out on top for that of the Minnesota Vikings.
And I assume you like Jordan Addison more than KJ Osborne.
Yes.
All right, let me ask you this: Jordan Addison or Adam Thielen?
Adam Thielen.
Wow, interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Who else you got here, buddy? Who's your
John?
last hit it?
Last hit it, baby. I'm rolling out Kyren Williams. Oh, did you say he's the number 5 back in fantasy football right now? Oh my goodness. I didn't know that. Did you? Well, let me tell you a little bit. He's had week 1, 17.4, week 2, 25, week 3, 7, week 4, 26. Last week was a little bit down, but they are bringing in, should I say, the Arizona Cardinals, guys. This is an awesome matchup. This is with Cooper Kupp back. They're just spreading the field even more. This makes Kyren Williams so sexy this week. I love this start. Fire him up and enjoy the ride.
All right, you got Kyren Williams at home versus Arizona or Zack Moss at Jacksonville.
Man, I got to roll with Kyren Williams, and it is fucking close. It is real close because JT is still throwing a wrench in everything. I mean, you know what I mean? But Zack Moss has been unreal, like different planet, Devon Achane, unreal, right? Since he's been playing. And so I got to go with Kyren Williams this week.
I mean, JT had 6 carries last week. I mean, does that go to 10 to 12 this week? It would have to.
It would have to, man.
It would have to, right? Yeah, well, we'll see if he can continue to be that efficient. All right, what about Travis Etienne, Kyren Williams, or Travis Etienne this week against the Colts?
Oh gosh, that's so hard. That's so hard. Shit, John. I'm gonna actually roll with Travis Etienne. And I say that because what he did with the Bills, and I get what we talked about, right? Bills walked into London. They are definitely depleted from a defensive perspective. They ended up getting cut up. You're flying, forever across the pond there, 5-hour time difference. I get it. But Travis Etienne looked phenomenal. So for me, I got to roll a little bit more hot hand in that of Travis Etienne this week.
Okay, what about James Cook at home versus the Giants, or Zack Moss at Jacksonville?
James Cook. I'm rolling with James Cook. Giants. I mean, you can't get much better than that. You cannot get much better than that.
All right, I like it. I just wanted to see where you were with that one, man. All right, who are you going to sit this week, Frankie? Who do you not like?
John, I'll tell you what. The first guy, it's not that I don't like him. It's just that I hate the matchup, and it's Damien Pierce. Damien Pierce is one of those guys that I love watching. He's a violent runner. He's very, very talented, and he's had a decent year, right? He's running back 23 on the year so far. He had a tough stretch early on, but he's really starting to come into his own. But the problem is he is playing the New Orleans Saints, and nobody is running very well against the New Orleans Saints. So for me, try to look elsewhere. You might have to start him, but temper your expectations against this wonderful defense for the Saints. John.
Yeah, no, I like that. It's tough. I do love Damien Pierce, but yeah, the Saints defense has been playing great.
Yeah.
If you can find another option, I agree 100%.
John, the next grouping of shitbags that I'm going to say to sit is going to be that of the New York Giants receivers. All of them. Every single one of them. All. Just don't even look that way. They're playing at the Buffalo Bills, as we mentioned. Danny Dimes might not be playing. Saquon might not be playing. I mean, this is we were really dogging the Browns last episode. It's just as bad right now, and with the Giants for this week. I mean, especially with everything happening with Danny Dimes, sit them all. Don't buy into it.
I mean, does that include Darren Waller? You got to still play Darren Waller.
You got to fire Darren Waller. That's the only guy.
Did you notice Darren Waller? He didn't even play tight end.
No,
he played receiver.
Yeah.
He was split out almost the entire game. It was really interesting. I mean, that just goes to show you how bad it is there. Yeah, I could see Darren Waller and Saquon both kind of coming up a little limpy in practice this week, just going, we're good this week, guys. We're good. Yeah. We need a little rest,
It's like that Family Guy episode where he's like,
gets his knee.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Right,
John,
just sitting here, man.
I'm sitting here. This guy could be dropped. This guy could be dropped. That's how bad he has been performing, and it is scary. I'm talking about Dalvin Cook. They're playing Philly. Here's what Dalvin Cook has done this year. Week 1, 7.4 points. Decent. Half PPR. First week on the Jets. Monday night, I think it was, or Sunday night. Awesome. Or decent. Not awesome. Week 2, negative 1.3. Week 3, 4. Week 4, 2. Week 5, 2.3. John, this is a massive, massive, massive problem. I don't think, especially against this defense, you can fire him up the way Breece Hall is playing, the way in the good ways Breece Hall is playing. The opposite is Zach Wilson, right? They know that they can tee off. It's ugly, man. I mean, I want to ask you genuinely, could you legitimately make an argument to drop Dalvin Cook at this point in time? Or do you just let him rot on your bench?
Depends what my team looks like, but yeah, I mean, you can't play the guy. Running backs are so difficult right now that, I mean, if you're in a position where you can drop Dalvin Cook, then you're doing pretty good. But yeah, I mean, I'd rather have Jaylen Warren than Dalvin Cook. I'd rather sit on like a Roschon Johnson over Dalvin Cook. Yeah, if in my teams, I'm not going to play him. I am going to drop him. I mean,
so let's say
you're looking at he's Kareem Hunt basically is how I'm looking at him. He's Kareem Hunt, and maybe Kareem Hunt light at this point for 4 carries, 8 carries, 5 carries, 6 carries. What are you going to get with 6 carries? And I mean, with this offense, I mean, nothing, man, nothing at all.
Nothing. And they just lost, I think, their starting guard as well. I mean, it's just getting uglier and uglier for this offensive line. And John, here's what's interesting. If you had, let's just hypothetically play this game out for a second. Let's say you have Roschon Johnson on your bench. You have Tank Dell on your bench. Let's say you also have, I don't know, another Michael Gallup on your bench, but you're looking to get a KJ Osborne. Would you drop Dalvin Cook out of the rest of the guys that I named?
Definitely.
That's a real life situation. That's actually something that people are probably looking at to a certain degree. It's going to be that type of tier that is their bench. And now you have JJ going down. And the question that I keep going back and forth with, man, is are we dropping Dalvin Cook too early? What if Breece Hall gets hurt again? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what happens? God forbid if that happens. But the flip side is the upside of a KJ Osborne or something like that is so high right now, like high being double digits, right? That double digit play in fantasy that, I mean, you could make an argument for that because I don't know if I want to drop Roschon Johnson because of his ceiling. That's the difference is we're talking ceilings here. Tank Dell, we've seen a ceiling, 25 points, right? Roschon Johnson, he absolutely could get the ball quite often, but I was just curious. It's definitely interesting.
I don't think if Breece Hall did get hurt, I don't think, first of all, Dalvin Cook can't do the things that Breece Hall does.
I agree. Totally agree.
Can't do that. So it's not like you're immediately plugging in a running back on a good team. It's not a good offense. It is Breece Hall right now.
Totally. Breece.
Dalvin Cook is not carrying this offense if Breece Hall wasn't there. It's just not his role anymore. It's not where he is, physically anymore. Yeah, you can drop Dalvin Cook. If you've got the bench space, if you're hurting on running backs and you need somebody that you can literally play a physical human in a spot, then yeah, keep him. Otherwise, if he's your fourth running back, see you later, buddy.
Yeah, interesting. I like it. John, the last guy we're talking about here is Miles Sanders. And again, we mentioned it last episode. This breaks my heart. I drafted him. I put my money where my mouth is. I really, really like this dude coming in. All I saw was gold, and boy, did that gold turn into poop. This guy has been terrible, man. I mean, we're talking he's 29th RB on the year, but he ended up having the last 2 games, John, he's had 4.7 points against the Vikings and 0.2 points in half PPR against that of the Detroit Lions. And now they're going at Miami. I think this offensive line is just going to get terrorized. And I just really, really think that Miles Sanders is not the play this week.
Now, the 1 week that he did really well, it was at Seattle, but he had 9 targets and 5 catches for 3 yards. That's what saved him. He scored a touchdown on the ground. But, I mean, when you look at these numbers, 14 for 43 yards, 9 rushes for 24, 13 for 19 against Minnesota. That's at home. I mean, it's just 7 for 32. Yeah, I mean, the issue, I was nervous about Miles Sanders coming in because of the offensive line. It's really bad. But I thought, you know what? He's going to be okay because of the volume. I'm thinking he's getting 15 to 20 touches a game. It's not even close.
No.
It's not even close. So, yeah, I agree. You cannot play Miles Sanders right now until further notice. You're 100% right.
And John, when we're looking back, guys, I know like we teed it up last episode, right? Hey, we're going to talk to you a little bit about how we looked from the prior week. Well, let me tell you, guys, last week as a whole, we told you to start Monty, went off. Told you to start Joe Mixon, had a really good game. We told you to start our friend Ettienne, and he went nuts. Okay. We also told you to start Breece Hall, and what did he do? Boy, oh boy, that boy run fast and hard. And then we told you to start Isaiah Pacheco. Had a hell of a week. We also told you, right, to sit some of these other cats that ended up doing terrible, like Zeke, Mac Jones, and others. And guys, what I'm saying is dig into this a bit, because John and I are kind of on a heater right now, and jump on in the fire with us. We're having some fun in here. So, John, I don't know if you have anything else, but I feel like these are pretty good starts and sits for the week, baby. Some good hit it and quit it.
I was so happy. First of all, I've got Breece Hall on my team, so I was going apeshit when he had that 72-yard touchdown.
It's awesome.
I'm yelling and screaming, and they're like, what's going on? He said, the guy that we had as our start and sit that we put on the cover of our episode scored a 72-yard touchdown. It was fantastic, man. It was beautiful. I love being right every once in a while, Of course, it doesn't take an absolute genius to say start Breece Hall, but it was a great start, man. It was really a great start. Out. Yeah. Great job, man. Great. I love your starts this week. I love your sits this week. Good luck to you this week. I know you're still kind of limping around from all the injuries that you've had.
Big time.
No, I know. You know what? You're going to work your way through it, man.
Goddamn right I am. I'm a fucking warrior.
You're going to wake up in the morning and piss excellence on Sunday. You know that? All right. Don't forget, everyone, you can follow us on social media on Instagram at Frankly Fantasy Football. And I know you're all listening to this on the audio everywhere podcasts are found. Take a look at the YouTube. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit the notification button. We will see you next week, next Wednesday, and see how everything shook out in week 6, man. All right. Have a great week, everyone. May the fantasy gods smile upon you. Bye.